Yeah, it's CC, the CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a gold builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black-owned firm, but we ain't all black.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, what is happening? It's your girl, Constance Carter, and this is the Grow Your Money podcast, where we talk about how to grow your money and not blow your money. Because if you blow your money, what happens? It ain't a damn thing funny. What's up? Happy Thursday. This is my last day of the week. So for all of you guys who don't know, I've changed my schedule. I only come live now 3 days a week. So this is the last day that I will be on here this week. And I always like to end it with a great grand finale, which is Dr. Jones. I got a good treat, and I have another special guest for you today too that I think that you are going to absolutely love. And this is going to be a really transformational talk. It's going to help us heal things that we don't even know that we have. There are things inside of us that we have no idea. The way that we show up in relationships, in friendships, in our jobs is because of intergenerational trauma that has been passed down to us that we don't even know about. And so we're going to get into it because the ultimate goal here is to live our best lives, is to be healthy and wealthy holistically. That's what we're talking about. But before we get into that, you already know what it is. So this is the Grow Your Money podcast, and this is a dialogue and not a monologue. What does that mean, everybody? What it means is that I need you to talk back to me and talk black to me. What it means is this is the way this works is we talk, we dialogue, we engage back and forth because I want to know what it is that you're up to. I want to know what it is that you're doing. And I want to know where you're watching from. So if this is your first time watching, welcome. We are happy to have you here. So for all of you guys, this is your first time watching. Let us know in the chat that this is your first time watching. Okay. Number two, if you are wherever you're watching from, I need you to put that in the comments because I like to shout you out because I know we have people that watch from all over the world. We have, from Chicago to Florida to DC, California, and then overseas. We have people in Russia. We have people in China. We have people all over the world that are watching. So I want to shout you out. I want to acknowledge you. And I want to say, hey, what's up? So I see Jones. Where are you watching from? What's happening, Jones? What's up? And I see you, Tamara, from South Carolina. And I see Karen from the Boogie Down. Here's my regulars. I see Janelle. What's up from Big Up to Brooklyn? That's what's happening. I see you, Tamisha, Mile High. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Oh, by the way, Saturday, I don't know if you know, because I'm not going to be able to remind you tomorrow, but if you have not signed up to the Bring Your Idea to Life training, you want to come. Tamisha and some other people are going to be coming. And this is not a large training class. This is a small training class. I only have limited spaces for a limited amount of people because this is a hands-on boot camp. This is something that is going to help you go from ideation to manifestation to monetization. I want to help you take your idea and I want to help you to launch it. And if you have not heard about the Bring Your Idea to Life training, this is what it is. It's going to be on Saturday from 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, all the way to 4 or 5 o'clock. It's going to be a 6-hour training. So we're going to dig deep down and we're going to get into the meat of things. Let me just show you, just to give you an idea of what you're going to learn.
Hi, I must say that this training has been an absolute blessing to me. Constance has made me awake in ways that I never thought. She has pulled out things for me that I didn't want to be pulled out. I think she has, even though she doesn't say it's a gift, I think she has a gift whereas she can see something in us that we may not be able to see in ourselves. And she doesn't stop until she pulls it out of you. She wants the best, I believe, in her teaching. And I think she makes sure that you don't settle for less than the best. When she comes with her all, and you can genuinely feel her sincerity and her speaking to you and her teaching you. And she wants you to not just accept for mediocre. I thank her for making me see that, yes, my business vision is possible. The sky is the limit. And if my mind is made up, then what's stopping me? Nothing can stop me other than Linda. If God is with me, who can be against me? I am determined to make my business flourish and be what it should be. And it's all because Constance was willing to take the time to have this training I can even take it again. I am so elated and excited about what she has done for me as a person. It is the best workshop I've ever been to. And I thank her for being determined to pull out of us what she knew that's in us because of what's in her and because of where she has been. So because of her journey, I am now here able to sit and speak with her and look to be a better person on my journey and to help somebody else along the way. Thank you, Constance. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you.
So this is the Bring Your Idea to Life training. This is happening this Saturday. So for those of you, if you are part of my subscription group, I have a subscription group on Facebook. You actually get $100 off. This is for my private subscription group. So if you're not a part of the subscription group, you should join my subscribers group. You go to you go to facebook.com/I am Constance Carter. Let me see if I find it in here. /I am Constance Carter, and I think subscribe. And if you're part of my subscription group, you actually get $100 off of this training. So if I were you, I would join the subscription group so that you could be a part of this training that is happening on Saturday. Okay. It's worth every bit of everything. And then you also get a one-on-one session with me, a coaching session, which I charge $500 an hour for. All right. So for those of you who haven't signed up yet, go ahead and sign up because I'm not going to be in here another day to remind you tomorrow that it's time for you to sign up. But listen, Jones is watching from Austria. I knew we have people watching from overseas, and I see you watching from California. Tamisha says she's ready for this class this Saturday, and I am ready to work with you. And if you've already signed up, you should have also got access to the Grow Your Money Club as well, which is training that we have. And if you don't know anything about the Grow Your Money Club, this is part of the Grow Your Money podcast. It's the reason why I come on here every single day. I have training like this. Have you joined the Grow Your Money Club yet? If not, why not? The Grow Your Money Club is a comprehensive program designed to take you through the complete wealth building journey. We don't just offer random courses, we guide you along a clear path, starting with fixing your credit and becoming a certified credit expert, to building your business, increasing your cash flow, diversifying your portfolio, and ultimately letting your money work for you. With over 30 trainings designed to increase your net worth, you get to either purchase the trainings individually or go through the 12-month roadmap. Here are just a few of the courses. From campus to cash flows, this is teaching your children to become real estate investors. The wealth map training shows you how to eliminate your debt, increase your credit, and diversify your revenue streams. You can learn to write your book using ChatGPT. Learn how to build your online community. What about 8 ways to make money using AI? Oh, and here's 7 online revenue streams to fund your $1 million dream. How about learning how to purchase tax deeds or land banks? What about getting started in government contracting? If you're a rookie, the Real Estate for Rookies training has everything you need. The Business Blueprint training will help you build your business foundation, get business credit, get business funding, and learn how to pay yourself so that you can scale your business to the next level. Or perhaps you want to create jaw-dropping video content using CapCut, Midjourney, and ChatGPT. There are so many trainings and master classes within the Grow Your Money Club, and I also drop 1 new training per month. You do not want to miss out on this opportunity to invest in yourself, because guess what? You are your biggest commodity. You are your biggest investment. Join the Grow Your Money Club today. So as a registrant for the Bring Your Idea to Life training, you'll also get access to the Grow Your Money Club, and you also get a one-on-one coaching call with me that is valued at $500, and it's thrown in there as well. And if you're part of my subscription group, you get $100 off. Like, it's a no-brainer for y'all. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get right into it, and I see everybody in the chat. I see y'all coming in. I see Ray Lawson from Baton Rouge. See, I know we have people from all over the world. Look. Austria in the building today. Anybody else from overseas? Oh, finally, hold on. I need to make sure that we're practicing collective economics. I forgot to tell you that. So for Black-owned businesses, if you are a Black-owned business or you know a Black-owned business, put their information in the chat. The reason why I do this, it's very important, is because we have to start practicing collective economics. The only way that we're going to close this wealth gap, Black people, is if we work together. Nobody is going to come and save us. We have to work together. We have to build our businesses and our brand and our brilliance together. Nobody else is going to do it. So if you know a Black-owned business, put it in the comments. And if I see it throughout today, I'll put your Black-owned business up on a screen. Make sure that you put how we can reach you. If you're if you have a website, hopefully you have a website, put your website up there or your contact information. But we have to support one another. The reason why they say that, our dollars is spent in our community only 6 hours is because we don't have anybody to spend with. we don't have Black owned businesses to spend with. Only 3% of businesses in Black communities are owned by Black people. And so if we don't have anybody to spend with, then how are we supposed to buy our basic stuff? So we got to get in position to where we are spending our money with the people who look like us. That's muy importante. So if you have a business, if you know a Black owned business, even if you don't own the Black owned business, but if you know the Black owned business, put it in the comments so that we can support one another. That's very important. Okay. All right. So I want to talk to you about this transgenerational trauma. And so before we even get started, I need you to send this out to everybody you know, because I know you guys know somebody who got some trauma. I know you got some aunties and uncles, and you're like, why are they the way they are? Or even things that you do and the ways that you show up. If I told you that the fear that you carry, or the anxiety, or the shame, the struggle to rest or trust or even receive different things, it might not have even started with you. What if I told you that you were born with it? Maybe you passed it down like a family recipe to your children. Only it don't taste like love, it tastes like survival. So that's what we're going to talk about, transgenerational trauma, the pain that we inherit, the patterns that we repeat, and the powerful truth that we don't have to carry it any longer. We can release it. We really can. There are things that we can do to release this trauma from our lives, from slavery, segregation, discrimination, beatings, to broken homes that our ancestors have, that we've carried, that we've passed on. These are things that we can't even imagine. This is trauma. But let me tell you something. Even though we survived it, we have scars from it. And if we don't face it, we risk passing it down to our children. The Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. The inheritance that you want to leave, you do not want it to be trauma. You want to leave health. You want to leave wealth. You want to leave good, positive energy to the people that you love. So today we're going to dig deep, not just into what it looks like in our minds, but with our bodies, but how we break the cycle. And we become the generation that turns our pain into our power, because you were not born just to suffer. You were born to heal. And you, because you are listening right now, you were born to heal your whole bloodline. That's the reason why we come live here every single day. I see the room, the lroom.com. Hopefully, I don't know what kind of business that is, but let's go ahead and the organic motherland food and the African American dollar store. Make sure you support these businesses. All right. So first, I want to bring up our resident doctor, physician, holistic practitioner, expert, the lady, herself, Dr. Shirley Jones at Ask Dr. J. What's happening, Dr. J? How you doing, lady?
Good morning, everyone.
Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Yes. So Dr. Jones is our resident physician, and we always talk about ways that we can live optimally. Wealth is not just about the money, because you can get the money, you can lose the money, you can get the money, and you can have the horriblest life ever. And having the money means absolutely nothing if you don't have the health, the mental health and the physical health. And here to talk about the mental health today is another doctor. You know who she is? I'm gonna tell you who she is. She's one of our she's one of our next 7 sisters, Dr. Deborah Cox. What's up, Dr. Cox? What's up, Dr.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. We are so good. We're happy that you're here. We're happy that you're joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thank you for having me.
So we always talk, and this is, these are esteemed doctors. I have a PhD. For anybody who wants to know, I have a PhD, but my PhD is a public high school diploma. This lady here, she has a real PhD, not an honorary doctorate. This lady right here, she is a medical physician. She has a real doctorate. Okay, so even though, here's a beautiful thing about it, even though these are highly esteemed doctors, we're just girlfriends too. And we're going to talk about sister friend, girlfriend things that I think that we really need to understand and know. And so I just want you guys to relax, let your hair down. And we're going to talk about the things that really affect us, which is trauma. It's all up and through our DNA, Dr. Deborah. So I want to talk to you about how it shows up. And then physically, how it actually how it shows up for us physically, both physically and mentally. So
Mhm.
I want to ask you first, Dr. Deborah, how do you
Yes.
define transgenerational trauma, and how is it uniquely experienced in our communities?
Understanding transgenerational trauma, it speaks to basically how unresolved pain and survival behaviors were passed down from one generation to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen unhealed trauma in caregivers and how they shape their children. It shows up when they show up to school, it shows up in their homes,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows up in the world. So it's passed down from societal trauma
Mm-hmm.
that we've all faced through slavery.
Mm-hmm.
It's passed down through poverty,
Mm-hmm.
the pressures of life that life offers through poverty.
Yeah.
That's very traumatic.
Yeah.
It's passed down by constantly trying to fit in to a society that constantly tries to
Beat your
deminimize
ass.
us.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I said beat your ass. Sorry.
Yes, basically. But they constantly try to minimize us. And I know with my family, when we talk about transgenerational trauma, I'm not sure what my mother saw because they weren't allowed to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And getting things out of them is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is she's not that far removed from slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the behaviors that she's adopted are related to the colonization of Americans to this world and the pressure that's associated with being Black in America.
True. And that is, and I'm glad that you said that, because that is the truth. And so for me, when you said that we're not far removed, just picture this here. And I know a lot of you can relate. My parents, my dad was born in 1947. My mom was born in 1951 in Arkansas, in the dirt, right? So my dad, loved him. He didn't go to school until he was 8 years old. He had no clothes. His grandparents were enslaved. So when
Mhm.
you talk about it's not that far removed, it is not that far removed. His grandparents were born into slavery. And
Mhm.
you think about the trauma of a brutal system that
Yes.
was beat on his grandparents. His great grandparents, I'm sorry, his great grandparents, not his grandparents. So his grandmother raised him. His mom was 15 when she had him. His grandmother kind of helped raise him. So her parents were born enslaved. And this is
Mhm.
the lady who directly raised my father, right? So with those values of being beat, actually turn it that way. Go back the other way, Dr. Deborah. Actually, so he, thank God he didn't adopt, the same, brutality that was placed on his grandparents and on him, but think about how close that is. So not
Mhm.
only the physical thinking or the physical things, but the mental thinking,
Mental.
right? The things that they do based upon the
Mhm.
trauma that they've had. So not only do you have that trauma from the brutality of slavery, but then you have the Jim Crow. Now my parents were in Jim Crow. So I'm a direct descendant of Jim Crow, even though it wasn't around. It had been abolished by the time I was born. My parents was all up and through that. I don't know
Mhm.
if you guys probably like part of
I
your,
had a touch of it.
yeah, you guys had a touch of it, part of your
At
early,
least, well, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we
Yes.
have been, it's not that far from us.
Right.
So there is this innate sense of trauma that has been dialed into our DNA simply by existing as Black people in this country, right? So that's,
Absolutely. Because what happens is when you go through, when when the stress hormone is introduced, it floods the brain for a long period of time, it changes how the hippocampus operates.
Mhm.
And when that hippocampus is impacted, it it impacts when it's impacted from the trauma, it has a direct impact on our executive function,
Yeah,
which deals with our emotional regulation, which deals with our learning and our processing, which deals with our ability to go for our anger to go from 0 to 10 in a matter of minutes. So,
absolutely.
with that long term traumatic exposure, we are reshaping that hippocampus. And it's physiological. I'm not a doctor, but I've studied the brain enough to know what is happening. And that's why in my work, I am focusing more on the awareness and healing through learning. I'm focusing on awareness, education, and creating spaces where people can finally interpret those patterns and not look at the person and say, what's wrong with them, but instead, what happened to them.
Right. So we don't want to just interpret, we want to heal. We want to move from it.
Right.
And I'm so glad that you
Interpret and heal. Exactly.
interpret and heal. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I like what who was that? Who was that? The cute guy in the car. He said he said something about us being enslaved for 246 years, and then we've only been free for 160. Think about that. I want y'all to let that sink in because a lot of times people tell us, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Why aren't black people doing this? Africans can come over and they can do this. Y'all the same color.
But correction.
Come over. Yeah, we have been traumatized for 246 years. We have been enslaved not only physically, but then mentally, legally, longer than we've been free. So
But let's
hold on,
be
wait,
honest.
hold on. I know. Hold on. I do want to ask. I want to bring Dr. Jones into the conversation because I want to ask her how has it showed up in your family, and then what are some things as a physician, as a medical physician, that we need to. What do we need to address with that?
So how it shows up in my family, and because if you all read our book Unbreakable,
What? Wait
you
a
know,
minute. Where's your book? Come on. You already know when you come on here, you got to be ready to pull the
gotta
trigger.
have your book, gotta have your book.
We caught her off guard. She over there. It went down the wrong part. There we go. There we go.
She's
Okay.
joking. In the book, I discuss my story. So
Yeah.
I grew up in Montgomery, Alabama, in
Woo!
the midst of all of this,
Wow.
and
Mhm.
so we were told you can go certain places, you could eat certain places, you can't share, you don't mix. And so these are just things that are ingrained and fears that are ingrained.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And fears that are ingrained where I talk about my story where nobody wanted to hear my voice.
Mm.
I was told to shh and sit back.
Mhm.
Kids are not supposed to be heard. They're supposed to be
Right.
seen. We're not supposed
Mhm.
to be, well, you know what
Seen and
Heard
not
but
heard.
seen.
not
Yeah.
heard.
Mhm.
And so, I wasn't embraced to be the best who I can be, even to the point where, that's not only racism, that's sexism too. That's misogyny, because it was like, okay, I wanted to be a doctor. I knew from a young age, and I was told, be a nurse. But that stems from systemic racism, because as Black people, we were not told we could be certain things, because there were studies that were lied to the people saying that our brains were smaller, and we're not smart enough to do that.
I just did so if y'all haven't seen my Black History Spotlight for the day, I just dropped a video about that very thing today. So
Oh,
Right. And so with that, that's constant stress. So it's
yeah.
not
mhm.
only that's emotional stress, that's, think about environmental stressors
Mm-hmm.
where they put the railroads through the Black neighborhoods, they put the interstates through the Black wood and take our land from eminent domain. And then they put in all the companies that dump waste and then we become sick from the waste. Those are stressors.
Yeah.
And so, as Dr. Cox said, these chronic stressors passed down. I mean, because you're talking about land a lot of families have lived on, so they still have the stress because of the toxins.
Yeah.
It literally changes how our brains are wired.
Yep.
There's the amygdala. That's our threat detector. And so when it's supposed to just scan for threats. It lets us know if we're supposed to be doing fight or flight or freeze. But what happens is when you have chronic stress, it heightens your anxiety. So we become hypervigilant. We become more startle response. We're more likely to pop off.
Yeah.
So that's part of chronic stress. Another part, as she talked about the hippocampus, that's our memory.
I was
So
going to ask you about the hippocampus because I was like, I don't know what the hippocampus is. But go ahead.
the hippocampus is for our memory, and it serves so your memory can remind you of what's real and what's
It's
not,
not real.
or whether you're in this space or it happened in the past. So constant stress dampens it, so you have difficulty distinguishing between real dangers and what were your reminders of trauma. So
Wait.
you say, for instance, if you meet this guy and the one before you beat you and he liked a Coke, when the new guy comes and he orders a Coke, you're gonna be like, oh no, I ain't dealing with him. That's
Okay.
chronic stress. That's from trauma. It causes you to have flashbacks. That's what the big PTSD and all of that, because you have these intrusive memories and you can't distinguish, is it a real danger or not? Because the chronic stress caused that. The other thing is the prefrontal cortex, and this is what you deal with. So the prefrontal cortex is our decision making, our emotional stability. It controls our impulse. When you're constantly stressed, you can't make good decisions.
Yeah.
That's why women who undergo, and men too, spousal abuse, if they don't, or just bad treatment in a relationship, if they don't take the time to heal, like Dr. Cox is talking about, then they meet the same person with a different face.
Yep.
And then they say, oh, there are no good men at all, or there are no good women. Trauma.
That's trauma.
And then the other thing is the hippocampus pituitary adrenal axis. That determines what hormones we release and how our body responds to things. So what happens is the increased stress causes you to release cortisol, which causes you to become insulin resistant, become fatigued, inability to sleep, have anxiety, you can't function, you exhausted, you're inflamed, get mood swings, and you just start having chronic health issues.
Wow. Wow. So let me ask this for the both of you then, is what happens when this trauma goes untreated, Dr. Deborah, mentally and physically? Like, can it literally become like a generational curse? And I want that I want from both of your perspectives. What happens when it goes untreated?
It is a generational curse if it's not treated. And I think that we can break that generational curse. I know we can be the generation through education and treatment. We can break that generational curse.
Okay. What about
And
you?
I feel that way because not only did it happen from my mom, those same characteristics were passed down to me, coupled with what I went through in life, passed down to my children. And so my children are in some type of therapy now, getting support and in support groups to work through it, because after I got educated, I began to educate them. This is what's going on. This is, and so
wait. So let's unpack that though. So the trauma that you've dealt with growing up, because I know part of your story, because it's in our book.
I just had it.
Girl, if you don't get that book, So it's in our, and if, hey, and by the way, if you do not have our book, so part of being a part of the Net 7 Collective, and these ladies are a beautiful part of this great collection of women from all over the country and internationally, and we just do some amazing things together. So some one day in our one of our trainings, somebody said we should write a book. How long did it take us to have this book?
Quickly.
We had about two
Too
months.
quick.
2 months.
Very quickly.
Yeah, so we had wrote this book. So so one of the things that I taught them was about how to write a book and how to share your story and how to share your story, powerfully. And so people, the feedback, look at the reviews. But the people have been saying that this book, they can't put it down, and these stories are just so amazing. But we're talking about ways that we've been able to overcome certain things, overcome traumas and situations, and we don't look like what we've been through. People see our story, but they don't understand our story. And we've been through things, all of us. You have been through some things. You have a story. People who are listening today, you have a story of things that you've been through that can help somebody else. One thing I know is that the things that God has blessed me to go through, the trauma, I use them as a blueprint to help other people. My hardships are the blueprint to help other people. And that's what we do inside this great community. But what I was going to say about Dr. Deborah is, I think one of the, and I'm not sure if this is in your story, or maybe I heard you say it, and I'm not even sure if it's okay to talk about, but you talked about how your trauma showed up for you and how you passed that trauma on to your children. And you were just talking about how they're in therapy, but I don't want you to skip that part, because we all go through a place where, maybe we weren't the best parents. Maybe we made some terrible decisions. Maybe we did some things that caused some things with our children. And now we've had to correct, we had to learn, we've had to correct. And now we've passed that correction down to our children, just like we passed the trauma, we passed the healing. Can you share a little bit about, the things that maybe something that you had done and maybe you discovered and how to do better?
Oh my gosh, that's a book within itself. But once I got educated, what I did with my kids was I began to share with them what happened to us, because when I left their father, they were 2, 5, and 8.
Mm.
And so those were their formative years, and they experienced the abuse and the poverty and all of those things that come with it. And the weight of my existence, my depression, just spilled off into them, because I believe it's genetic, because to be perfectly honest with you, all my pregnancies were carried with depression, because I was in a horribly abusive relationship.
And the reason why you latched onto him was because of what happened in your childhood, right? I think you mentioned that. The reason why you
Well,
latched onto
yeah.
him. Yeah.
Well, I met him when we lived, I'm from a rural community. So there was like two streets, an upper patch and a down the patch. And he lived down the patch and I lived up the patch. And we started dating when I was 13. And I started getting physically abused at 14.
Ooh.
And from 14 until 3 babies later and 26 years old, I dealt with that abuse. And my kids were exposed to it. And then when I brought them out of it, they were exposed to a different type of pressure. And that was dealing with me going to school and working and trying to make ends meet. So it was still a different type of oppression that they had to deal with, because I was dealing with it. It was
Yeah.
my it was my survival. That
Yeah.
was my
Not
survival.
available.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You were not
Exactly.
available for them. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it goes back to that overachiever, because I had gone through so much. I had become like an overachiever. And quite frankly, most of us Black folks, we were taught to be overachievers, because we were told, children, folks our age, we're told that you have to be that and more. You have to be better than
Run
white folks.
faster, jump higher, work
Yep,
harder, push further. Run faster,
exactly.
jump higher,
Exactly.
work harder, push forward. Run. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and that's what we did. But just imagine someone who's gone through um, a lifetime of trauma,
Mhm.
chronic, complex trauma, um, becoming an overachiever on top of what we already had to do as Black people.
Right, right. And then you put that on top of your children, right? So then
Yes.
there's that pressure. And so now we're a lot of us. So once we recognize, because I think the problem is, Dr. Jones, is like we just like you said, we don't just inherit genetically from our parents, we inherit their habits,
Hmm.
right? And so as we come to the knowledge of this information age, now we're starting to see the error of our ways, so that we have to dial back and we have to start to unlearn a lot of the things that we learn. And then as we start to unlearn and we start to have these revelations, like, oh shit, like I remember my son told me something about his childhood trauma. I'm like, boy, we went on 10 vacations a year. You mean childhood trauma?
Exactly.
And he was like, Mom, you weren't home. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what I experienced. And I was like, right. So I was like, oh God, here I am trying to conquer the world, trying to do all these things, trying to save all these people, make an impact. And my kids are suffering. And I'm doing it for them. Right.
Mhm.
But I'm not there. They've experienced their own sense of trauma. And so now it's like, okay, I'm a little older. I know better. And so I have to do some healing and I have to do some apologizing and some unlearning and all those things. Right. So for
Mhm.
you, Dr. Jones, when you look at that, for a lot of us, because we're in the information age and we have all of these tools that are in front of us and we know better, how do we begin to do better? How do we begin to heal from the things that, and this is a question for both of y'all though, but I want you to go first, Dr. Jones. How do we begin to heal this and kind of change the narrative of how to move forward so that we can turn these generational curses into generational blessings?
Well, first, it's what both of you mentioned. You got to recognize it.
Mm, yeah.
You got to bring it, be aware,
Yeah.
bring it to the forethought.
Name it. Yep.
Realize it's okay that I'm not okay.
Mhm.
But get the help. You can't help something if you can't help a person if they don't recognize they need help.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like the United States. If you don't recognize that you were wrong, how can you get the help? And
Right.
so you recognize a lot of us as we get older, we recognize we also have this family is off limits and big mama and our parents are perfect and we dare not touch their memory because they're not here because we somehow always uplift the dead. They can
Mm,
be the worst person in the world.
I've seen it.
Mhm.
Funeral,
Mhm.
everybody's, oh, they were great, they were great.
Angels.
They were angels. Like, no, that's not the same. But the thing is to tell the truth. Talk to your children. And a lot of times we don't know how because the health system doesn't support it.
Mm,
System, we have not been trauma trained.
yeah. Yeah. We have not been trauma trained.
You know, a lot of people, teachers, you're a teacher, Dr. Cox. Were you all trauma trained? It was something that you had to go do, right?
It's a specialty.
Right. We're trained with social emotional learning.
Mhm.
So that's like a skirt around trauma, and we don't go deep enough to
Mhm.
really have the impact because we're limited with time, and there are so many other things that um, interfere with us going deep in the schools, and that's why healing for learning is that's why I created healing through learning so that we could have I could do workshops with churches, families, schools on trauma impact and go deep with people instead of just hitting the surface and thinking it's going to have a impact.
That's good stuff. So let me ask you, Dr. Jones, I'm gonna go back to you because one thing that you always talk about, and people think is woo woo. People think it's woo woo. They think, oh, that stuff don't work. All that nature stuff don't work, and I know it works because it's worked for me. I think the people who say that it doesn't work are the people who are stuck in the trauma, who have not dealt with healing. But what are some daily practices? And this is basic. You don't need no money to do this. And I already know you don't need money to do this. You just need what? Daily things that they could do to try to shift the trajectory for themselves.
So be aware. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your trauma. Be aware of everything. So that's how you start healing.
So awareness is the first step. Mm-hmm.
First step. Second step is to meditate.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about meditation, because I need them to understand. Let me tell you why. I want to stop right there. And I'm sorry for interrupting her, y'all. But some Christian or religion folks think, oh, you ain't supposed to be meditating because that's another religion. I've heard some old people, because they don't understand the practice of meditation. But if you can explain what that looks like for the people who don't really understand what it is and why it's important.
Dr. Cox, do you? You want me to explain meditation?
Oh, you can go ahead and explain meditation.
Okay.
I would just add to, if I may, to what Dr. Jones was saying. I mean, not add, but ask the question when you're done explaining what you would do. And I would like to add a little bit to that as well.
Yeah.
But I would like to know, how can our diet impact our mental health?
Okay, we'll ask that next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So we're
I'm just curious
about stuff that's natural, just natural. You don't take any money. It's just your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It basically is to meditate. So meditation is basically our inner reflection.
Yeah.
Is to sit back and run through your thoughts, write them down, journal, because you have to face your emotions and your feelings. You got to write it down. And yes, you're going to cry. You got to write down how you're feeling. And then once you start writing down, this is when you can reflect back to how to change those things, because the brain can be rewired from this trauma. You can come back from this, but you can't fix it if you don't address it.
Right.
The other thing is to get sleep. The sleep is time for the brain to have rest. And so that it could decide, hey, maybe that's not real what you're thinking. But if you do not get sleep, your brain doesn't cut off.
Right.
You got to have your 8 hours of sleep. And then the other thing is to go out in nature. Nature is calming. It increases your endorphins, which are like your dopamine. Dopamine is the pleasure hormone. When you're under chronic stress, your dopamine levels go down. Right. Your GABA also goes down. The GABA is the hormone that gives you a calming effect.
Yep.
Getting in nature, all this stuff comes back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Grounding is my woo-woo. Get out, take your shoes off, get in the grass, put your feet on the grass and sit there and let the earth communicate with you and bring out those negative feelings and negative ions. And then, of course, to eat right. You got to eat right. A lot of foods are very inflammation based, which are like your meats. And I know everybody's like, I'm not going vegan, but okay, but increase your plants. Or go to the foods that have better brain foods, which are like your salmon, your fatty fishes, your omega-3s. So changing your diet, sleep, rest, and then learn how to breathe. There are several breathing exercises that you could do. Did you want to go into that?
Yeah, and I was going to say, that's why she loves me, because we are so in alignment. We are so in alignment because, these are all the things that we practice inside the Net 7 Collective. Like, these are literally all the things, they're principles that we do in order to get focused on the task at hand, which is building wealth, building community, creating legacies, creating strong sisterhoods, creating, all those things. That the things that she just said, the awareness, getting centered and focused and journaling and meditating, those are the foundations to life. Mm-hmm. The foundation to life. Mm-hmm. So I love when you said when reflecting, because sometimes it does hurt. I know for the first, 40 years of my life, I was on go mode. I never had time to reflect. I was growing a business and doing this.
Survival.
Yeah, you surviving, right? I got to make my
Mhm.
money. I got to raise my kids. I got to do my family. I got to do all these things. And then life happens. Life be lifing. And it gave me a moment. It gave me 2 years to sit back and say, okay, who am I? That's why I asked them the questions. So even a part of our group, they didn't even know what each other did probably the first 5 weeks. And even though they're all highly esteemed professional women, nobody knows because we're just women at the end of the day. So who are you really beyond your titles, your accolades, your PhDs, your doctorates, and all that other stuff? Who are you? And when you really understand who I am without everything else, because I don't want you to talk about what you do or even being a mom, just who is Deborah? Who is Shirley? Like not Dr. Deborah, not Dr. Shirley, but who am I?
Mhm.
Reflection is everything.
Mhm.
And it might not be a pretty thing because are you a good person?
Sometimes
Are you
no.
sometimes no? And
Are
answering
you
those
fake?
questions, right? Are you what?
Are you fake?
Are you fake?
Because maybe you're a person that you think everybody wants you to be.
Ah.
So getting really real with yourself, that's part of that
Mhm.
trauma that has been beat into us because we've been traumatized to be everything that everybody told us that we were. Right?
And the other thing you want to also do is you survived. You're here.
You're here.
Name what helped you survive to get to this point. And
Mhm,
like they're saying, give yourself permission
mhm,
to feel without shame because your feelings are real.
mhm. You're
Just
feeling
remember that healing doesn't require perfection. And that's where I got screwed up. I
talk about it.
in perfection, man, I'm telling you, every T had to be crossed, every dot had, it was impossible to live with me. It really is. And sometimes it still is because I'm really finicky about some things, but it was impossible. And my granddaughter would tell you that. But I had to learn that healing doesn't require perfection.
Ooh, that's good.
It just requires intention.
Ooh, you better say
The
Being
that.
present.
action
Yes.
cures fear.
Mm,
Postponement fertilizes. And
mm.
like they said, journaling is meditating, all of that is essential. And I have a journal that you can purchase.
Hey.
And it's not like any of your other journals.
I think I got one.
Trust me, you can get it on Amazon. And it will walk you through what you're going through. Everything that we've discussed, that Dr. Shirley talked about, walks you through. That Dr. She doesn't realize it. Dr. Constance Carter talked about is in this. It guides you through like no other journal. That's
Yeah,
all I'm going to say. But just remember, it doesn't require perfection. It requires intention.
it does.
Intention produces action. Action eliminates fear. Postponement fertilizes it.
Mm. And that perfection, listen, one thing you will learn by working with me is that perfection is all the way out the window. And if we are waiting on perfection, it'll never happen. It'll never happen. We wouldn't be on here right now if we were waiting on perfection. And,
Yeah.
and what you
She
gonna
will push you out there whether you are ready or not. That's one
learn?
thing good about being in net 7. It's
Hey,
like,
listen,
get
stay
ready.
ready. Stay ready so you never have to get ready. Yeah, what you call me,
She
Dr.
will
Joe?
The
stretch.
rubber band stretcher.
The rubber band. But that's real because the thing about perfection, it paralyzes us. Analysis paralysis paralyzes so many people and it stops us from doing things. And that's part of the trauma, right? That shows up in our imposter syndrome. We
Yeah.
don't believe that we are worthy to do
Who
things.
we
This is
are.
trauma that's
Right.
been passed on to us.
Right.
We've just packed on over the years of people telling us what we can't do. When we come into this world, we are the fearless that we've ever been that we will ever be in our lives. We have
Yeah.
no fear. We think that we can do anything. And then it's the things that the world has put on us, that our parents have put on us, that our siblings have put on us. All that's when the barriers come up,
Hmm.
that trauma that's passed on.
Yep.
And so healing, eliminating that. So those basic things, I love what you said, those basic things that we can do every single day, the two of you, that is beautiful. So let me ask you from this. and I want you to, because we're out of time. If there is somebody listening right now, and they're the first in their family to try to break the cycle, what advice would you give to them? We'll start with you, Dr. Deborah.
I would say, like Dr. Shirley said, first, tell yourself the truth. Journal your story, not to relive it, but to reclaim it.
Mm.
Name what hurt you because it's real. And then name what helped you survive. And just remember, action, action, action. I don't care if it's just an itsy bitsy step that you make. The next step may be a little bit bigger, but action cures fear. The longer you sit in your situation, the longer you fertilizes it and it grows bigger and bigger and it will become overwhelming. But take it piece by piece and step by step.
I love it. What you focus on the longest becomes the strongest. How
Mhm.
do you eat an elephant? Piece by
One bite at a time.
one bite at a time.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good shit. And even though they're highly sophisticated, highly educated ladies, I still curse. So, Dr. Jones, do you give us your final thought? What advice would you give to somebody who is dealing with that, and how could they show up? What advice would you give to somebody listening right now, trying to break?
So, ditto to what Dr. Cox said, but also Brother Abdeen, he really touched it. You have to learn how to navigate and bring your personal preferences against social expectations,
Ah.
meaning that what you feel is real, and
Mhm.
nobody else can say it's not. Nobody else has an opinion. You have the right to dislike what you dislike. You
Mhm.
have the right to eat what you want to eat, or to do or be whoever you choose to be. Don't decide what everybody else wants you to be. Take off the mask and be who you
Yes.
truly are. Tell your truth. And that's where I end.
Good stuff. I love it. You see these ladies. Okay, before I tell you what
Yeah.
my final thought is, let me just tell you that these ladies are a part of the Net 7 Collective. This is a group of women, over 80 women from all over the country, that we have this inner circle of women who connect, who share, who grow, who learn, and who teach. Right. So it's something that I started because it's something that I needed. But the beautiful thing is it's grown legs and we are teaching each other. You see all this great knowledge of information of these women teaching me, and I'm teaching them, and they're teaching each other, and we advising each other, and we building each other, and we giving each other all kind of great information and share. Yo,
Mhm.
it is everything. Um, and I want to give you a moment, Dr. Deborah, just to tell them about your experience with Net 7.
Okay, Net 7 has been uh, a lifesaver to me. I met Dr. Constance through um, Dr. Peggy Morris, um, Sisters for Sisters Network Incorporated, through the Power Network Conference. And ever since I met her, my life has made a 360-degree turn. I became a part of Net 7 and have authored 5 books since I've been there. Have established my business foundation, and we have done public speaking, have done some workshops on my area of interest. She has catapulted me into where I needed and wanted to go in terms of my passion and my desire in life. Trained me everything I needed to know about starting a business and moving your business forward. She's an executor, and she will push you and push you and push you, but you'll get somewhere going with her.
You go do something.
Yes,
We
yes,
don't
for
know what it is.
sure,
We gonna do something.
for sure.
Dr.
Write a book.
Write a book. At minimum, you're gonna write a book.
Yep, several books. You're gonna write all kind of plans. You're gonna have your content together.
You know,
You're gonna know how
and
to
you know,
do videos. You're gonna know. You're gonna do it all.
yeah,
You're
and you
gonna
gonna
learn
sell.
that all the money you spent trying to get there, you could have just done it yourself and done it just as well. So
Amen.
it's worth the weight in gold. Trust me, it really is.
Thank you. And then Dr. Jones, if you could just share, and then I want you to tell them what you're doing and how they can reach you.
So I'll share is that Net 7 has been a godsend. I don't believe anything happens just for haphazardly. It was what I needed in my life.
Mhm.
I didn't even seek out Constance. I really can't tell you how I found you. I think you reached out to me from B1, and I don't know why you were led to reach out to me, but it has provided me with a place of sisterhood that just uplifts me, where I don't have to be Dr. Jones, where I can be Shirley. I can have the things that I'm not so comfortable with doing, and I got sisters that lift me up. The rubber band stretcher, Dr. Constance, she knew my insecurities and she pushed me because she
Yeah.
knew I could do it, even though I believed that I couldn't do it. And so it has just been so much grateful. And I'm so grateful to you, Dr. Constance.
But you
It's a
said
gift
something.
for a lifetime.
You said something last week. What did you call us? It was after the show or before the show.
Sunflowers.
You said we're sunflowers. Tell them why you
We
said we're
all stand
sunflowers.
up straight and we support each other. You don't see one sunflower leaning down, hiding, and the other ones are growing. We all grow up.
I loved it that I was like, man, you gotta say that
Make a
online.
t-shirt.
Listen, you know what? I have a Net 7 logo with some sunflowers. What? Because when we grow together. Ooh,
Grow together.
we don't just go together, we grow together. Listen, if y'all see that on a shirt on conversationtees.com, you heard it first. All right, Dr. Jones, listen, the reason why I love having Dr. Jones here every week is because literally she saved lives. She saved Dr. Deborah's life.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
look at some of the last time Dr. Deborah was on here, Dr. Cox was on here, she talked about literally put up your book really quick. Because
I knew you were gonna say that.
So you can't really see it because you're blurry over there. But if you look up here,
I'm blurry.
Yeah, you're a little blurry up here.
Oh.
This is Dr. Deborah, and when we first met her, she was tired all the time, and she looked her age, and then and she was always going to sleep on the knees.
She
And
told
then
all my business.
no,
And I paid for this course, right?
right. Then she connected with
Bucks.
Dr. Jones, and I remember looking. I'm looking at everybody, and I was like, wait, what the hell happened to you, lady? What happened? And she was like, I had a consultation with Dr. Jones. And I'm like, and so everybody started looking at her. They were like, what are you, Benjamin Button? Because she just went from looking her age to like 30 years younger. We were like, what the hell you been doing? What's going on? Yeah. And so that the reason why that's so funny is because in our last meeting, she said, you said something about, can we change the picture? Because I took this picture when I thought I was dying. But not only, if I can, I'm going to show you. This lady is not dying. She is living. She don't sit her ass down nowhere. I follow her on social media, and let me tell you, she has done a 180-degree change. I love everything about what you're doing. And so, I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so proud of you and everything that you're doing. But I want to give props to this lady right here, because what she does is she looks at our blood. Yes. And she tells us based upon, and you said, Dr. Deborah, that you got a bad diagnosis from a doctor. So she was able to look at that same information and tell her what was actually wrong with her. Change your life.
Yes. I mean, I went crazy. I really did, because I thought I had this disease that the doctor told me I had. And I contacted Dr. Shirley. I have never in my life had anyone read my blood to me like Dr. Shirley read it to me. Now, I can't use the language she used because I'm not in that field, but she made it make sense to me. I understood about connecting all the dots. If I had this, then this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So, and she also uh, connected me with someone here in Annapolis who's an integrative doctor. She told me what to ask for when I went to him. I did exactly what she told me to do. She also told me about my diet. And then when I went and got all the testing that Dr. Dr. Jones told me to ask my doctor, Dr. Wise in Annapolis, to give me, I found out what I could and could not eat. And believe it or not, it was red meat was one of my issues. And when I got rid of it, I started dropping the weight like,
Girl. I was like, who are you? What
and
are you
my
trying to
energy
talk
level
about?
came back. I was able to stay awake in meetings. I was
Ma'am,
able to dance again because, girl,
ma'am,
I love to dance now.
you better
Anybody
come
who
off
knows
the
me
dance
know I
floor.
love to dance.
You can't
And
keep off the dance floor now.
yeah, give me a line dance anywhere and I'll be there.
Boots on the ground everywhere.
Yeah.
On site, ready, loaded.
Yeah. So I just had my blood work redone the other day, and I will be scheduling another consult with Dr. Shirley Jones
Let's go.
before I go see Dr. Wise.
Yes,
Because out of the mouth of two or three witnesses, the Bible says, let every word be established.
let's go.
So I am going to do that.
I love it. So, Dr. Jones, how do they get in contact? You don't even need to tell what you do because we already told it for you. But
Right.
how do they come in contact with you?
So you can find me at askdrj.info. And you can make several consultations. Make sure you have your blood work done, like maybe within 30 days of our appointment. And then we will delve into what your goals are for your life. What are your problem issues? You know, if it's fatigue, it's sleep, or you think you're dying, you think you're in menopause or whatever, we can discuss and make a plan for you. If I'm not in your area, I can refer you to someone that can help in that area.
And I was talking to somebody from the area, one of the other, I'm doing business with one of the other sisters in our group, and she was telling me how much weight, I got to get on my weight thing though, but she's telling me how much weight that she lost. I'm like, how'd you lose? What you been doing? I talked to Dr. Shirley. I'm like, Dr. Shirley out here killing it, changing lives.
Oh, yeah.
She out here changing lives. And that book right here, In Transition, is the truth. The transition is the truth.
The transition, yeah.
You can read it in literally an hour. It's actually, it's not here. It's by my bed. But I have it.
That's good. That means you're reading it.
That means I'm reading it. Yes, it's on my nightstand, and but it's the truth. So if you want to transition from eating red meats or eating meat to becoming
more vegetables,
yeah,
or just more vegetables, right?
She tells you how to shop.
Oops, upside down.
All of that. You got the book too. We can't see you. You pause.
Yeah. You pause. Yeah.
Yeah. We got it. So AA, make sure you watch the playback here. Before I tell you what my final thoughts are, I want to tell you why I started the Net 7 Collective. My journey has been in and of itself, but here's the reason why I did it.
I never thought I'd be starting over. After over 20 years of marriage, 4 beautiful children, and building the largest Black-owned real estate firm in California, I thought I finally arrived. Life was good. I was making money. I had a team, investments, a mortgage company. Everything I had worked for, prayed for, bled for, I'd built with my own hands. And then my whole world shifted. Divorce hit me like a wrecking ball. So I abruptly packed up my life. I left my business and I moved across the country. Not because I had it all figured out, because I needed some space to breathe. And what most people don't know is I was able to walk away and take a 2-year break because I had built passive income. That's what freedom looks like. Having my money work for me when I couldn't even work for myself. And during that time of stillness, I prayed, I fasted, I asked God, what's now? That's when He gave me the vision for Net 7 Collective. I looked around and I realized most of the people who worked for me were Black women. My tribe, my circle, all Black women. And I saw what we needed. We needed wealth. We needed healing. We needed options. We needed each other. I wanted to empower women who looked like me, who had given their all to everybody else, to finally pour into themselves, to build businesses, to invest, to write books, to own something. And baby, they did. Over 80 women all across the country and even globally had increased their net worth. They grew new income streams and they stepped into their power that they didn't even know that they had. But beyond the money, they found sisterhood. And now we're building Net 7 Nation because this movement is bigger than just a cohort. This is grassroots. This is legacy. And if you're a Black woman or you know one who's ready to get free, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, generationally, it's time. Welcome to Net 7 Nation.
And this is the result. This right here, this right here, this right here is everything I prayed for, everything. So I'm so proud of these ladies. If you are interested in the nation, you can go to net7nation.com. Net 7 Nation is a little bit different than the Net 7 Collective. Net 7 Nation is your local chapters. So Net 7 Nation, we are just going to be just exploding all over the nation with chapters that are popping up all over the place. Dr. Jones is going to have her Florida one real soon. When she gets some time, but Dr. Deborah is going to be a part of the her and Dee Esquire, the doctor and the lawyer. They're going to be heading up the Prince George's County chapter, and we already have hundreds of people that are already interested. So we're really excited about it. So if you're interested in Net 7 Nation, go here. If you're interested in being a part of the inner circle of women like these ladies, go to bookwithconstance.com or go to net7bbs.com. And I would love to have a conversation with you, bookwithconstance.com or net7bbs.com. And I would love to have a conversation with you about what that looks like to be a part of this, where you get coaching from me. Okay. So let me get back to the trauma, because I want to wrap this up in a bow for you. And I want to let you understand that just because that the trauma didn't start with you, it doesn't mean that the healing can't start with you. That's what we've gathered here today with these two brilliant doctors. You are the answer to your ancestors' prayers. You are the one that has been chosen to stop the cycle. And I know it's not easy carrying what the generations before you did, that you have to unpack. But it's necessary work if you want to create a transformational future for your children and your children's children. Every boundary that you set, every therapy session that you attend, every truth that you speak out loud, you are planting the seeds of the freedom for the ones that are going to be coming after you, just like they planted the seeds for the ones for you coming after them. You weren't born to be broken, ladies and gentlemen. You were born to be brilliant. And you have everything you need to reclaim your peace, rewrite your story, and rebuild your legacy. Know today that the curse ends with you. The healing begins with you. The wealth flows through you. So let's heal together. Let's rise together, and let's grow together. All right. We appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us today. You're going to see Dr. Jones next Thursday. We're going to be talking about some more health things. She is our Sanjay Gupta for the Black, and she will be for the Black community and beyond. And we appreciate everything that the two of you ladies are doing in the communities. We